Hey guys, Thomas from Team Sakuraso here, coming at you guys with a 5 cards to have in your trade binder for June 2022. I know it's been a little while since I did this series. I did one, last one was probably I think March, but we got 5 cards here that you guys should be investing in and why. Now if you're new to this series, what I do is I tell you guys 5 cards that you should buy or trade for, however you choose to acquire the cards. I tell you how many copies, why, what I think it's going to go up to, and more of those semantics. So if you like these kinds of videos, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe. If we get 100 likes on this video, I will do a second one this month, because these types of videos do take some research and I don't always have the most time. If you're buying any cards off TCG Player, please use my affiliate link down in the description below. Helps out the channel to no additional cost to you. And let me know if you enjoyed this series. We also got a new thumbnail template because I want to come back with a vengeance on this series, and we're going to get right into it. So the first card I have here is Ulti Ecclesia. Now, the price might shock you on this because I know it shocked me on this. These are holding at $45 right now, and that is insane to me. Now, we all know what Ulti Ecclesia does, but for those who don't, basically, it can't be destroyed by battle. You special and you search any Dogmatica card, which is fantastic. Now, the reason why I'm telling you guys to pick this up is because Dogmatica, especially decks like Dogmatica Invoked, Dogmatica, etc., will always be popular because the only hit the engine has is Nadir Servant to 2. And since the engine's not doing that much anymore, I highly doubt that the engine is going to get hit anymore. If anything, we have a better chance of seeing the Nadir Servant coming back to 3, which will help the engine. Now, this is a meta-relevant engine, and this is a meta-relevant card. So for an ulti to be $45, this is the lowest point of the card. Now, I would suggest getting at least a playset because it's very easy to move a playset. However, if you have extra money and you just want to make more, get up to 6 to 9 copies of this card. OTS 18 in general has a lot of great ultimate rares, like Ulti Zeus I would highly recommend, but I talk about that on my channel too much, hence why I didn't make the list. Along with Ulti Ecclesia being the lowest ulti, kind of came out of nowhere, and the drop was crazy since people were paying $70 to $80 for this, and on release it was $130, and people were buying it for over $100, and it was a solid Benjamin for a long time. But now that's not seeing as much play. People are dropping the card. It's also the most recent OTS. But once we get to OTS 2021 and the card, or at least Dogmaticas in general, start doing more, I think the card's easily going to spike up to something around $70 to $80 back to where it was, with a possibility that it could go back to $100 if it makes a big splash. But I'm going to say around $70 to $80, especially because people are looking at OTS 18 and how low it is, and people are going to be targeting it for buyouts, and Ulti Ecclesia could be one of those buyout targets. Now, the second card that I have for your trade binder, or to get in your trade binder, I should say, is Revolving Switchyard. Now, I am talking about the OTS Super Rare. Now, a fun fact about this card that many people don't know is there are more supers listed currently, at least on TCG Player, than commons from the Mega Pack and the original pack Dark Illusions combined. And those commons are almost $2 each, which a lot of people don't know when their commons, especially their older commons, are worth money. So seeing the super at $4 wows me. Now, this card can easily go up to $10, $15, possibly even higher, because Trains, for those who don't know, is a very relevant deck when it comes to Rogue. A lot of people love playing Trains. It's a fan favorite. It's got, it could get you invites. I've seen a few players actually get invites with Trains, which, because a lot of people just don't know what the deck does, and it comes out of nowhere and just smacks you with a big-ass Train. This super is getting to low quantities as well, and like I said, I would grab at least 12 to 15 copies of this card, something along those lines. I think it's a very good super to invest in, and this card's most likely going to be bought out within a month or two of me making this video. So it's more of a if, not a when, if it's going to get bought out. So that's why you want to grab the card right now. For those who don't know what it does, though, to sum up a long story short, you can special summon a Train, make it level 10 Earth. Awesome already. And then you can also, it's also a search. So it's a very good field spell in general, along with having the discard outlet to search. That really helps out the deck. So this is crucial for the deck. Again, I would grab 12 to 15 copies. If you want to just grab a playset because you're not sure for 12, that's fine too. But like I said, I see the buyout kind of coming here. Now, the third card I have here for your 5 cards to have your trade binder is actually Sword Soul Sinister Sovereign. Because a lot of people are buying more Sword Soul because Sword Soul is a tier 1 deck right now. However, we have the tins coming up in September that are going to reprint the Sword Souls. Now, and a lot more people are going to want to play it. It's going to be more affordable besides some of the extra deck cards like Baron. But the reason why I'm telling you guys to get Sinister is because this is not going to get reprinted in the tins. It came out of Battles of Chaos, and they're only reprinting up to Burst of Destiny. Now, Battles of Chaos is a set that's not going to get reprinted for at least over a year, in my opinion. Maybe even longer. And we don't know what the picks are that they're going to get. Now, this card's rough, sitting at $4. It was like $1 or $2, but now more people are actually trying to pick it up. Now, I saw this at about $3 going up to $4. And now that's $4. I quickly see it going up to $5 with the listings. This card can hit about $10, I believe, and I think this is one of the good penny stocks in order to grab. Now, for those who don't know what this card does, when it's special synchro summoned, you get to draw a card if you control another worm. So, Sword Soul, this is pretty easy to proc, and other decks, it's also easy to proc as well if you're playing worms. Now, what's really awesome about this card is how generic it actually is, because this is a card, in my opinion, that goes beyond Sword Soul. Because Synchro Summon, you draw a card. Okay, it's a free draw. Any deck can have that and enjoy it, right? If you control another worm. So mostly worm decks are going to play it, obviously. However, what it also does is if your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, you can banish one of those monsters, right? So, pretty good already, right? You get a free banish. And then, if you do, you can inflict 1,200 damage to your opponent, right? So that's a decent amount of burn. You know, that's a little over 1/8 of their life points there. So if time gets called, your opponent has to worry about whenever they make a play. Boom, you can make them burn, which is really good. So it can win you in time. It can do a little bit of burn damage to help you go for game, right? Because sometimes your board's going to be 6,000 something or 7,000 something. You're not going to get the OTK off. You're not going to be able to do enough damage. The 1,200 kind of helps you a little bit with that. Even though life points, I understand at this point of the game, is not that relevant. It's still a little relevant. But the other effect it has, and I actually really like this one, is when your opponent activates a spell or trap card or effect, as a quick effect, you can banish this card. And if you do, inflict 1,200 to your opponent. Now, if they activate something like Geki or something that targets, or any of that to try to get rid of this card, like say they activate Afterburners and they call their target being your Sinister, well, you could banish this card so you get rid of it. It's like 1,200 damage, right? So if your opponent has to play through your board, and they have to get rid of this, they're like, all right, no matter what happens, we have to use the card, and we're taking 1,200 regardless. And that's what's something that's really good. And you could activate both of these, so you could be doing 2,400 damage to your opponent. Again, it goes past Sword Soul. When people are going to want to play Sword Soul, people are going to want to grab their copies of this. It's going to be a good generic worm target. At $4, I could see this easily going up to $10 to maybe even possibly $12, $13. So make sure to grab your copies while you can. And then the fourth card I have, I said last. Guys, I can't count. Yu-Gi-Oh! Players can't read. We can't count. We can't go outside. It's crazy. But is Boojinki, and if I mispronounce this, I apologize. Ahashima, whatever the card's called. You see it right over here. So the reason why you should get this card is because of Splice. Because what it does is it takes two monsters with the same level, aka Splice or any deck that plays like, a lot of level 3s, like, Virtual World could play this card, for example. When it's Link Summoned, you could special summon two monsters with the same level, one from hand and graveyard, but you negate their effects, and then you immediately have to XYZ summon, right? So you can make totally awesome. You can make anything you want, and this card is essentially very free because it gets one from the graveyard, so if you link into it with two levels of the same level in Splite, well, you're going to have your graveyard loaded. All you need is the extra Splite in your hand, and then if an XYZ monster in this card 2 points to activates an effect by detaching materials, what you're able to do is you can target spell trap your opponent controls and destroy it. So it's a free spell and trap pop, and it lets you immediately XYZ summon. It's a very good card, honestly, in a lot of other decks and a lot of, from Rogue to Meta at this point. The card only has the print and dual overload. At $4, we can see this hitting up to like $10, $15. If it starts seeing a lot of play in Splite when we get into TCG, but we are also seeing what the OCG does with it as well. And some builds are playing it, some aren't. So I would grab a couple copies while you can. Now, the last card I have for your 5 cards I have in your trade binder is actually quite simple, and this is Ultimate Rare Sky Striker Hayata. Now, Sky Strikers have proven from YCS Hartford that they could still top a YCS, even though I think they mostly top because of the mine. A first place at a YCS is a first place at a YCS. Ulti Kagari is about 220 to 240. Shizuku's around the same. Now, Hayata, which you only play 2 copies of, you don't play 3, at least with the builds at this moment, is only $57. The fact that this card cannot hit 120 or even half of what the other ultis is very telling on how players don't really understand the market, and they kind of don't understand trends. This card, I told people to grab at $27, and it went up to $45. Then I talked about it again, I'm like, hey, you know what? If you did grab at $27, you lost some money, but hey, $45, $44 is still pretty good. Well, now it's $57, going up to $65 quite quickly, and I'm telling you guys for the 3rd and final time to finally get it. This archetype not only gets first place at a YCS right now, but you know, it's also a eternal deck because a lot of people like playing 2019 format. So there's already formats that you can play Sky Strikers in, even though in Yu-Gi-Oh's entirety, it's quite new, being from 2019. If you look at how Yu-Gi-Oh dates from 1998, I would consider that quite new. Also, it's a fan favorite archetype. I mean, the OCG gave us a literal manga of this series. I don't know what other archetypes they've ever done that for, but that's pretty insane to me. So this is pretty much free money. It's also from a very old OTS pack, being OTS 11. Or, no, OTS 10, I apologize. OTS 11 was Ultimate Arcana, which is also going up, but I think that Hayata is the move. Now, before I go, I want to thank all my YouTube channel members. We actually got 2 new YouTube channel members from this week's live stream. Thank you to Lukey. Thank you to Caveman TCG. Thank you to Jungzi Pito. Thank you to Drew Chamberlain. Thank you to Chancey's TCG Store. Edgar Madelia. Carlin Lenker Frisk, The Lone Descendant, Mr. Blanks, Dan, Fernando Polito, Seto Kaiba's bank account, Shoelace Bandit, and the Harv Carve Man. The Harv Card Man. Harv Carve Man. That sounds pretty funny. But thank you to all 14 of my YouTube channel members so much. Hopefully you guys will consider being a YouTube channel member. If you're buying any cards off TCG Player, consider using my affiliate link down in the description below, especially if you're going to buy these cards. It helps out the channel to no additional cost to you. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of 5 Cards Having a Trade Binder. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.